Trends are nothing new. Someone one day threw on some leaves to cover up and suddenly we're all wearing pants. Tattoos were a rite of passage. Now it's R.I.P. Brian Griffin on your ass. Trends used to evolve with purpose, like adding zippers and belt loops for utility, but now they've been mutated into a product for someone to make a quick buck on, while those at the bottom eat it up to avoid being socially ostracized. This has given way to the life and death cycle that plagues countless trends.
I got early access to the Rock the Universe Labubu.
Day 790. Let me know, maybe we can use it.
I am the owner of the world's first KSI Labubu.
I wanted to talk about this idea of the life and death of a trend when my social media feed started getting flooded with these ugly little fuckers. Love them or hate them, we're talking Labubu, the newest, hottest collectible that everybody is going feral over. I skipped this in my video about toys, but Labubus are just another in the swamp of blind boxes. Go to any vaguely trendy store, hell, maybe even your local liquor store, and you'll find a display full of these collectible plastic guys just begging you to pull the lever. Labubu, Sunny's Angels, One Piece, Harry Potter, MHA, Jesus Christ. Probably. At first glance, it's pretty harmless, sure. You spend 15 to 30 bucks, pick the box that's speaking to you, and pray you get the character you want and not some bum like, But that's where they get you. Because if you don't get the one you want, the little worm in your brain goes, what if the one I want is in one of those boxes? And suddenly, you're buying another, and another, and another. It's gambling. The biggest argument against this fact is that you're still getting something. You lose on a lotto ticket, that's just kindling. If you get a janky Labubu, at the very least, you got a jank Labubu. But why not just sell these figures outright? Because the blind box method preys on scarcity, FOMO, and the dumb little hope that maybe this time you'll get lucky. It is manufactured gambling for those who don't want to admit that they're gambling. If your favorite wasn't on the shelf, then you wouldn't be spending money. If there was a chance to get your favorite though, well, now you're playing the game. Not to mention, some show you the odds of each item getting pulled, which is very similar to another thing. It's scratchers. Scratchers show you the odds. Now, blind boxes have been around for a hot minute, so this ain't anything new. Y'all remember Wonder Balls? And I mean, at the end of the day, it's people spending money on shit. Who really cares, right? But with our hyper-connected world we live in, these trends, not just blind boxes, but collectibles in general, have allowed certain evils to seep in, turning it into something corrupt and gross. And I feel like there's three culprits that are responsible for this. Celebrities pushing products has always been a thing, but now companies don't even need to hire someone. TikTokers will promote your garbage for free. This ain't your average TV spot either. You're getting so many more eyes, which makes the next big thing far more desirable. This Stanley Flask isn't just a cup anymore. It's a status symbol. People aren't buying things because they like it, but because the attention they get from the people who want it. This loops into the lipstick effect, where during a recession, people buy small luxuries since they can't afford big ones. So instead of a Rolex, you flex a $20 Labubu, and you're still getting serotonin from a comment section full of 12-year-olds. And just like that, we're no longer buying toys, we're buying clout, which leads to desperate people willing to pay whatever to be part of this fleeting trend, which is where we get these knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing Neanderthals have been around since the Beanie Baby craze and have only gotten worse. PS5s, Taylor Swift tickets, fucking toilet paper in 2020. Stores have had to alter how they release drops to stop these greedy bastards from buying out the entire store in one run. I'm sure we've all seen the videos of Costco and their Pokemon releases. Dude, this is a kid's game, and the kids aren't even able to get the cards. How fucked is that? This adds to the artificial scarcity because if you want a Labubu, since you've seen 12 TikToks in a row about them, you go to your nearest Pop Mart, you're either waiting in line or the shelves are empty before you even knew they were stocked. Now, some of the blame should be put on the companies manufacturing the products and how they never seem to anticipate just how popular said item is, which leads to our final opportunistic dickhead. Those with keen eyes can spot them from a mile away, especially when shopping in person. I mean, dude, look at these. Come on. But when searching through the Wild West that is online shopping, it ain't gonna be that easy. You go on Temu or AliExpress and sure, you expect a little jank, you're practically ordering knockoffs. But even Amazon and Etsy are swamped with the cursed lafufus. That's just if you want the legit thing though. A lot of the time, these knockoffs are cheaper than the real versions, and for people who just have to be part of the trend but don't have the cash, knockoffs become the only option. That said, the existence and support of these knockoffs feeds into the rotten bubble of these trends. Something gets popular, hundreds of knockoffs crop up, the bubble pops, and now you have a landfill packed to the brim with these freaks. Fakes are always going to exist, but when there's a new little collectible every month, you can see where the fear starts arising. And listen, I'm not trying to be the morality police here, okay? Buy what you want, spend your money how you want, I don't care. I'm just saying, maybe we should be a little bit more intentional, a little bit more aware of where our money is going, instead of just blindly throwing it to the newest trend, creating an Ouroboros, an endless cycle of hype, buy, burnout, garbage, which seems to get harder and harder with just how trends develop these days. I believe that when aspects of a trend stick around for long enough, they become a culture. Beliefs, symbols, aesthetics, anything that represents a community usually started as a trend that enough people embraced until it became more than a fleeting moment. With how fast-paced the internet has become, trends rarely build that kind of staying power, since most people join in just because it's trending. Occasionally, a certain culture will get spotlighted, but even still, without respecting the history behind it, as annoying as it sounds, you're being a culture vulture. I know, hearing cultural appropriation at every little thing is annoying, but we've all been there. The anime community, barf, was labeled cringe for years, and now all of a sudden, it's cool to like anime. The problem isn't newcomers, it's intention. And with trends, the intentions are rarely anything other than social credit or money. So when this is your community, of course you're gonna be upset with people coming into your home with those intentions.
Goku with a tail. I've never seen that before.
The funniest example of this is brands versus meme culture. I believe that memes are where culture meets trend. Stick with me. Most communities build over decades, but memes die out fast. The troll face was rocking for like 5 years, but now we got 5.5 billion internet users. I ain't gonna be surprised if Ashton Hall is found face down in an alley by the end of the year. The thing is, meme culture isn't about the memes themselves, it's about the act of memeing. This sounds so stupid, but just think about it. Because we never expect a meme to be around forever, the creation, the use, or spread of that meme becomes the culture. It demands you to keep up with what's funny currently, because last week's banger is this week's Mr. Beast ad. You felt it. Scrolling Twitter, seeing some mega brand do their sanitized take on a meme and instantly thinking, oh yeah, this shit is dead now. It is straight up cultural appropriation. I'm sorry if that sounds stupid, but you cannot deny it. These people are coming into a group trying to fit in by adopting whatever meme is popular right now for the sole purpose of making more sales. Because isn't it so funny that Wendy's did a skibbity toilet meme? I'm gonna go buy a burger now. Late night shows pull the same trick, attempting to draw in viewers by bringing in the next micro celeb, which always leads to this clash of people who have no right being on national television and people who have no fucking clue what a Rizzler is. Or think about Morbius, a meme so big the studio mistook it as demand, re-released the movie, and bombed a second time. Hell, half the memes I reference in this video are probably dead by now. You guys getting the digging your butt twin memes? Even those are dying right now. Digging your butt. Those are funny, right? Well, some cultures are able to survive the trend wave. Some, specifically those around art, are getting trend trapped, and you can feel the fatigue as creativity starts to stall. Movies are a prime example of what I'm talking about. Obviously, true cinema is still being produced. That being said, the general public ain't lining up to see the next indie A24 film. They're too busy guzzling that fucking Rat's Next soulless live-action remake. Disney made a killing, so now it is an endless feed of beat-for-beat remakes. Crunching the numbers, asking ChatGPT, shows that half of the movies are mid, a third of them bomb, and only 3 out of 18 could be considered actual bangers. But even those hits mostly just ride on the strength of the original. If I made a Mocher Janiac The Bear and it was great, Well, is it because I'm great or because the original is? At least in recent times, it seems like some movies are just getting re-released in theaters, which is way smarter than throwing millions into a movie that's an inevitable bomb. Yeah, I'm sure we're all excited for the Universal Monsters Cinematic Universe. I get that studios are trying to play it safe by, putting money into things that have been shown to make money before. It makes sense from a business standpoint, but, motherfucker. Art demands innovation. If you're gonna have artists on a leash during a whole production, not allowing them to express their vision, you're not getting art. You're getting a product and a bunch of angry directors. I'm an angry director right now. It takes corpos to trust the artist that allows industry-changing films to be created. Take Spider-Verse. Sony allowed artists to construct a specific identity for this movie that broke out of the cookie-cutter style that a majority of animated movies were stuck in. Of course, it helped that it was a Spider-Man movie, yet because this shakeup in style did so well financially, we're seeing more animated films taking stylistic risks. Gaming is in a similar spot in that for the past decade or so, we've seen a homogenization in AAA titles. That's made publishers complacent, letting some ugly trends take root on their side of gaming culture. The latest are these super deluxe editions. Pre-orders used to mean day one access with maybe the soundtrack thrown in or a little statue for superfans. Now it's in-game currency or some level up points, and I'd say the most vile perk, early access. This isn't some beta version. For 20 to 30 bucks extra, you can play 3 days early. It is textbook FOMO. You're not just buying the game, you're buying access. And it doesn't stop there. Ever since games went online, publishers have turned shipping broken titles into a full-on business model. They rush out half-finished games, then patch them later. Movies can't get away with that. You're still watching a finished product, even if it was rushed. Well, maybe not all the time, I guess. Now, getting your indie film distributed is a Herculean task. The endless amount of tools available to indie game devs, though, allow anyone to publish solo titles without any corporate meddling. Most of the time, it's just one dude, allowing them free reign to execute their vision. Five Nights at Freddy's blew up, and now there's a whole genre of horror games with cute mascots. Among Us made waves with multiplayer, and even when games mimic a certain style, for example, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk being heavily influenced by Jet Set Radio, works because you can tell the devs made it out of respect and love for the original, not nostalgia bait. It's the same lesson as Spider-Verse. When artists get room to breathe, you feel the soul and passion in the work, and it resonates. That's what separates the trendsetters from the trend chasers. Trendsetters evolve and push their medium because they care about the craft. Chasers are just in it for the bag, hoping for the same payoff, and you can feel that lack of soul. I was reminded of this while watching the documentary Exit Through the Gift Shop. It follows this guy, Terry Guetta, who's really into street art and tagged along with a lot of the heavy hitters in the scene, even connecting with Banksy at one point, one of the most elusive artists out there. Terry later started making his own work, and in my opinion, it's trash, derivative, commercial, soulless, especially when you hear him talk about his process. It's clear he wanted fame, not expression, and unfortunately it worked. He made money. Like, a lot. However, comparing him to someone like Banksy, you can tell which one actually made an impact within that culture. I'm not trying to suck Banksy off here, I just respect him a whole lot more because he's doing shit to send a message. He speaks through his art. Mr. Brainwash speaks for his art.
This one is Elvis. It's like a piece that I made. It's like I changed Elvis. He had a guitar, and I put him a toy from Fisher Price. You know, a toy from Fisher Price. And this piece called "Don't Be Cruel."
The story doesn't really hit hard because it shows that you can follow a trend and still be successful. And if that's the goal, money, clout, a spotlight, fine. But if you care about leaving a mark, the better path is creating from passion, not hype. That's where I feel you come in. Yes, you. If you're a creator, resist the urge to chase what's popular and make something you actually believe in. Enrich the medium and inspire others to do the same. If you're a consumer, maybe think twice before buying the next glup shit-o blind box because your favorite TikToker cracked one open on camera. When the dust settles, are you still gonna have that Labubu strapped to your bag? Trends aren't evil. They're just shadows. Echoes of something real, made with love or grief or curiosity. If you chase the shadow, you miss the source. But if you make the source, you cast your own shadow. I think that's really what art is all about. Sorry to be head ass, but art and creation is just something that I'm really passionate about. What do I know, right? I'm just making a dumb video essay on the internet, which in and of itself is a trend. Am I washed?
In the end, who's on your side? Who can you trust? In the middle of the night.